But yeah, all right. With that, we're going to move into the 20 through 11 segment. At number 20, the previously alluded to Nikola Vucevic. At number 19, we have Jakob Poeltl. At number 18, we have Mark Williams. 17, Brooke Lopez. 16, Nick Claxton. 15, Derek Lively. 14, Draymond Green. 13, Ivica Zubac. Zubac? It's always one of the Zubac. At number 12, Isaiah Hartenstein. And at number 11, missing out on the top 10 by one spot from the Indiana Pacers, Miles Turner.
Ooh, okay.
So I think we start with the spicy one. I'm going to throw this out to either of you. Either of you can answer it. Vucevic, number 20. I guess this season with the Bulls, again, it's all up in the air, I guess. We've talked about it in prior episodes. But Vucevic himself, let's try to keep it to Vucevic. You know, the shooting has fallen off. I remember we used to have in the Discord back in the day debates about Vucevic's shooting, and we used to get all the prop from this one up here. So I guess my question is, does the shooting rebound, and can he be a guy who can play around, I guess, Levine again, but also the young guys and help them kind of get better shots and better looks?
I think he can. I think he can. Like, before you threw out that question, I was thinking, he is what he is. Like, he's not bad. He'll rebound. He'll pick and roll, go off for the three, 50-50 on if he makes that three, maybe 60-40 miss, maybe 75-40 he misses.
75-40.
Yeah, we got to give him some extra percentages to help him out.
In that sense, he said pick and roll to a three to 75-40.
None of those. Well, 60-40 then 75 because we got to help him out a little bit. We got to inflate those numbers a bit, but like. He'll hit a couple first baskets because the Bulls love to run that play where it's like pick and roll. Then Vuce comes out. DeMar would kick it out for the three. And then yet again, is he going to hit it? Like, who knows? Like, your guess is as good as mine. This area, and Vuce falls into this, like 11 through 20, except for maybe one or two names on this list. I just call this section the good, not great. A bunch of guys that are either, some might be falling down. Vuce's kind of on that trend. Brooke Lopez is in this area. He's kind of trending downward instead of upward. But it's a bunch of guys that it's like, if you're not in that top 10, you're not great, but you're not dog water. You're not the bottom. You're just good, not great. It's just a bunch of guys that, hey, we need a center. Here we go. We got one. And we're not like the worst in the league.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I got to say. Vuce is what he is. Like, you told me I can't talk about the future. Keeping on Vucevic is what you're telling me.
Just trying to keep it on Vucevic because we have a team video coming up, and you guys.
Yes, I get that, but realistically, we want him traded because he doesn't fit the future plans.
Correct. But one of the encouraging things to look forward to this year, if we are stuck with Vucevic, is the way he got better throughout last year. Like, he started the year.
He got better.
What? I got positivity. That's what I'm known for here, right? I bring positivity.
I want to see some positivity with the Pistons, Dave.
I want you guys to remember that he said this about positivity when we get to the top two. I just want to remember that. I want you to remember that. Because I won't be doing hating. I'll be doing propping up of both.
Oh, we're gonna prop up all. Yeah.
But David will not be. Dave will not be. He will be as negative as they come. Because your shirt says "we coming" and you come with that.
We coming.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad.
Vucevic started the year off dog water. Like, he couldn't hit the side of the barn. First 2 months, he was shooting under 28% from three. Like, he just couldn't hit the side of the barn. December started slowly getting better, but it was like 30%. But if you take the last 3 months of the year, which I know again we're extrapolating like quarters to thirds of the year. But for a team who's always competing for the play-in, we're never not competing. That's the lovely thing about Jerry Reinsdorf is we're always competing for that play-in. He did shoot like 35-36% from three. So as the year, if you slice up the year into quarters or thirds, it's just improvement. One of the funniest things about the Bulls is somehow after 3 years of having Vucevic, we still haven't used him anywhere near how he was used in Orlando. So don't love that. Obviously, with our 3 all-star lineup that did not exist ever, things did not happen well. But new look Bulls, we'll see how they use them this season. I expect it to be a little bit different just because DeMar's not there. And like Ricky mentioned, they had a lot of actions with DeMar and Vucevic together. So we'll see how that's going to work out this year. Bar is pretty low though. Most of Chicago hates him, and I think that nobody loves the contract that he's under, even though it's only a 2-year deal now. Still, 20 mil for a starting center in the middle section of centers in the NBA. Not the worst deal in the world of the Bulls. So yeah,
It's not saying much.
but
No,
it is saying
listen.
something.
Listen, Vucevic is I almost call him an MVP enigma because like he
Yeah.
has been one of the widely discussed players. Him and Kobe, right, are like the two
Yeah.
that are most discussed when we talk about the Bulls on this podcast, at least. But yeah, I don't know. I think Vucevic is fine. He is what he is at this point. You're not going to change him, right? He kind of hopefully his shooting can rebound a little bit because I'm going to be honest. If he can't stretch the floor at a league average rate or slightly above league average, I think he's next to useless, right? Because
Can see that.
there are so many other guys who can do the rest of the stuff that he does in his game and better for cheaper. Like, right? If he can't hit threes, then why would I not want Walker Kessler out there instead of Nikola Vucevic? Right?
Walker Kessler's defense is definitely a whole lot better, no doubt. Vucevic as an offensive hub is kind of something I'm interested to see what they want to do with this season because he is one of the best high post passers in the NBA. But it's not something the Bulls lean on because they always had to have the ball in Zach LaVine's hands or DeMar DeRozan's hands for our offense to function. So like he was always playing third fiddle, and it was like you got to get Vucevic involved, and it was like, oh, do we?
But yeah. The next player we'll move on to is actually Jakob Poeltl, who's right above Vucevic at 19. Dave, I want to throw it to you. I almost did the wrong way. You.
Yep.
Poeltl's an interesting one, right? Because one of the best rim protectors in the league, kind of goes under the radar for most people. Also said on the Raptors press conference that we're gonna suck.
Yeah.
So
he knows they're all about
don't expect winning. I guess my question is, one, do you think he's a trade candidate? And two, if he's not, I guess what is his future, I guess, in Toronto? Because we know what he is. He could help a contender. Like, again, we'll keep going back to the Pelicans. If he was starting at center for the Pelicans, it'd be fantastic for them.
Oh,
but,
absolutely.
But what,
absolutely.
I guess, do you think he's a Raptor at the end of the year? And if he is, I guess answer both sides.
It's weird because they traded a first-round pick for him back. And that's bizarre. I think a lot of people saw that move and they're like, it's like a mid to late first. Like, it's no big deal. And, like, he is an established player. He is good. I don't think there's any question to his game, but there's also no growth to his game. Like, he's better Clint Capella, you know? Cool. Some teams definitely need that. The Raptors are just this weird team where I'm like, you're trying to be bad yet again. And I think that the expectation is he will be gone, but they gave up value for him, so they want to get value back. But again, that Raptors front office has also made some really poor decisions when it comes to asset management. Obviously, they struck gold on the IQ and RJ Barrett. I did not see RJ Barrett becoming like Canadian Jesus up there. Like that's
I just feel like every time we talk about the Raptors asset management is just to clarify and remind everybody that they turned down to trade Kyle Lowry to Philadelphia for Matisse Thybulle, 2 firsts and Maxey.
Yeah.
And then Lowry walked 6 months later. So that team is just, their front office is very questionable at times.
Yeah, but they do have some other good options. I think the thing with them right now at center is they got to see. I don't know. It's weird. I think that he could stay on the team long term just because he's been there. Yeah. And it's a comfort thing. It's like, cool, you started your career here. We brought you back. We invested in another pick in you. And he's a good anchor. Like, there's nothing wrong with him. And it's just the question of, like, if they win more games than they expect to start the year, then he stays. If they're looking, mid to, like, lotto, then obviously, hey, flip him. Let Kelly O play center or let, Chris Boucher play center. Like, roll up whoever you want to, or Scotty Barnes. It doesn't matter. At that point, you're trying to lose games, and you're obviously in the situation for a reason. So I think he's good. I don't think that he's going to change this franchise to be anything ever, though.
Fair. I think that's fair. I think we kind of can lump the next couple guys together because Mark Williams, Brook Lopez, and Nick Claxton, they're all different. No. Listen, I'm going to explain. Okay. They're all different scenarios, right? But I don't think that any of them are going to have in such an incredible season where they jump up. I think Mark Williams and Brook Lopez could jump down, right? If Mark Williams gets hurt again, it's injury for Mark Williams.
Yeah.
Injury for Mark Williams, and Brook Lopez is back and just, overall aging, right? And then Claxton is there, but he's on the Nets, so like
He doesn't actually count.
What? Yeah. So what are the I guess I'll go to you.
He's
Ricky,
also
first.
a trade candidate.
They're all listen. Both of them. I think Mark Williams could even become one because the Hornets I think are basically at the point where it's everybody besides LaMelo and Brandon Miller are kind of up for grab. Like they don't want to trade him right now, but like
Mhm.
if somebody comes into the deadline with a meaningful offer for Mark Williams, you tell me the Pelicans that the Hornets wouldn't consider it. I think they would.
He's so good defensively.
He is ridiculous.
Otherworldly
He can't
defensively.
stay healthy.
I know.
So if you get a healthy half season of him, do you sell high? Is kind of the
No. I think you hold out. I would hang on to him because legitimately they are like I forget the swing it was. I was catching up at like the end of last season stuff, and it was like when Mark Williams was on the floor, they were legit like 7-point different swing, and it was just like
they're ridiculous.
Yeah, that the guy is an anchor on his own. He's got all the gifts to be like a legit top 10 center in the NBA. Like you said, it's all down to health. But to be fair, there's a guy in the top 10 right now of centers who is injury prone, who played in less games in his first couple of years than Mark Williams did. And I don't think his team regrets holding on to him.
Yeah, I think there's okay. We're not getting into this debate now. Nice bait though. What I will say is, let me just clarify on that question. That's not my feelings about Mark Williams. I'm actually a huge Mark Williams fan,
I love him.
But I had to put Dave on the spot about the questions about Mark Williams because legit for him, it's just health. It's all it is.
I don't think you give up on him though. He's too much talent to give up on. This is year 3. You still got time under a rookie deal. No way, unless you get an insane offer. But I don't think they're going to get that. I feel like teams now with the double cap situation, like his rookie deal is going to be a pain in the ass to match. So I don't know how many assets you're going to throw at you. But Claxton's the weird one to me because like, he's a free throw away, and like not like Jakob Poeltl's any better, but like if you could make free throws, there would be a demand for you league wide, like flat out. Even though you got clowned on in your last playoff appearance, played off the floor, like you're still good enough. If you could hit 70% of your free throws, you'd be on the court. Like no options.
His free throw motion is just so weird though. His mechanics are all over the place. As we played the Nets multiple times now in playoff series, and he is just he's just all over the place. Brook Lopez, I'll throw to you, Ricky. Any change? I mean, under Doc for the full season.
So what I was thinking as soon as you were asking a question is, so I could see Brook Lopez for sure being in 21 through 30 next year, because it's like we already talked about there's some guys that can take the leap. Zach Edey, how great does he do? Like even after a first year could still be in 21 to 30, but could make the leap, could easily be a top 20 starting center next year. Okongwu could take over that job from Clint Capella for next year, definitely be in the top 20. Like I could see those two for sure moving up. And then like I could see Brook Lopez and Jakob Poeltl are the two that I look at as possibly moving under. Mark Williams if he's injured, but yet again, like we can't guess if he's going to be injured or not. Like we could say if he is, but like
I love injured players. I'm never going to write him out.
Brook Lopez is the one that it's just like another year older. Like I said, he's on the downcline already. Like once you're on the downcline, it's really hard to stop.
I understand.
I was going to say, I had Brook Lopez at 21, so he was already in my 21 through 30. I still think, like, obviously his ability to stretch the floor is still going to be useful because his shot mechanics are so good and almost unblockable. He can shoot over most people.
I did have him at 15.
I had him at 21 just because we saw last year his back slowly deteriorate and bring his game down. And his movement's not there, but he's just so pause long, right? And he can shoot and he can stretch that. He's still going to be useful. And when you play next to a guy like Giannis can make up for a lot of deficiencies of other players because he can just fly around on the court. And obviously Dame's there now. It'll be interesting with Brook Lopez. Doc is usually pretty good at maximizing his starters. It's the other players that he's usually not good at. So
not using the bench at all.
Using the bench too much. Like, you guys full bench lineup, but run the same stuff that we run with our starters. All right, you go. That's what he does.
That'll totally work.
Ricky, I'm actually gonna throw it back to you for the next player.
Go ahead.
Draymond Green, your boy. We have him listed as center.
Obviously, I will always overrank him. I love Draymond.
I was going to say with
clear and simple.
With this year, because they're going to use him as they always have as their hub with some of the young guys that are coming up. Moses Moody has looked decent in preseason actually so far. I guess his role is probably not changing too much on the court, but as he gets older and he starts saying some of these, I guess, wilder and wilder things and starts alluding to the Lakers even more, he won't stop. He continues. Like every single week, I see a
He knows
quote
what he's doing.
about playing with LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Expectations for him this season, because we assume he's going to be with the Warriors for this whole season.
Mhm.
We'll see next summer.
If Steph misses like a month of playing time,
Expectations, just keep on being Draymond, my dude. Keep on being Draymond. Keep the podcast going. Keep things interesting. I just love Draymond to where it's like I put him at 11 for vibes. I love the dude. I love him. I'll always love him. I know he's not the exact same person or exact same player that he used to be, but this is what you come to. There's always one that Ricky's gonna have irrationally high, and Draymond Green is that dude.
I mean, it's good that he hasn't kicked anybody in the balls.
I was gonna say, dude, best kick in the game.
yeah, Kick City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why he wore the Arsenal shirt.
Huh?
Because he's good at kicking, and in soccer you kick the ball.
Kicking some balls.
He just has a blank check to do whatever the he wants, and it blows my mind.
That's what I mean, right?
Steve Kerr's his for it, and it blows my mind. Like, he's an adult. Why can't you treat him like an adult? And clearly there's no repercussions.
He's the only one exempt. It's literally everybody else got called out except for him. Even when Steph did stuff,
he got grandfathered in, my dude.
Yeah, but no, but it's
like Manny Ramirez, Manny being Manny. That's just Dre being Dre, baby.
What, Draymond? Okay, I don't want to.
Am I wrong?
No, I don't want to go full diatribe here.
I don't want to turn this into like the all-time conversation, but like the only thing that I will defend Draymond on is when they blew that 3-1 lead in Game 7, he was the only one who showed up in that game. He was the only reason they were in that game was Draymond. But outside of that, all the stuff that he's done, the play has been meh. Even when they won their title in 2022, he was nowhere near one of their best players, right? It was Wiggins and Curry with the carry job. Gary Payton, the second on the defensively, just absolutely immense for them. I don't know. And again, he has free reign. The defense is not as good as it used to be. It's still good. It's not elite of elite like he used to be able to guard 1 through 5. The jump shots, what it is, they use him as an offensive hub, so his numbers are always going to be gaudy when you're playing next to Steph Curry, right? With no Klay Thompson, it'll be a little bit interesting to see. I know their fans are raving about D'Anthony Melton, but we know that's only going to last a little bit while because as somebody who's gone through the D'Anthony Melton thing and the Buddy Hield thing, this is the same thing that Buddy Hield does everywhere. He should be a little bit better off in their system with their movement and catch and shoot and kind of minimizing his ball handling responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still the same thing with Melton and Buddy Hield is they'll start off really well and then they'll fall off a cliff like they usually do. It's just how it goes. I hope Melton stays healthy because he's good. Melton was phenomenal for us at times, but when his back goes, he literally is out for months then. Yep. So I guess it's wait and see. I don't know. I don't want to hate on Draymond too much. Obviously, I think he's an all-time player. Like defensively, he was
if he can get away with another playoff performance or even a play-in performance against Domantas Sabonis and just body him again.
We'll get into that. So don't
I'm just saying, like that's the type of thing where it's just like it. As much as I hate him for being the type of player that he is, it's good to have a guy like that in your team.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, Pat Beverly's not in the NBA because he threw shit at a fan. So apparently that's where the line in the sand is.
Dude.
But
just let him fly.
Well, when these players come up,
he kept it caged in for so long that it's like
no, it's just the players. It's the players bringing it out in me because they also lack control.
It's Draymond falls into the category of he's an asshole, but when he's your asshole, you overlook it.
I love him.
Like Dennis Rodman. Like a lot of people probably hated Dennis Rodman. Bulls fans are like, yeah, but he's ours.
Exactly.
He's ours.
That's exactly who he is. I got no problem with that. But yeah, I do think
if Draymond was a Bull, Dave would change the script completely.
Probably.
Oh, but I do think that's not a thing. Oh my!
If Draymond came to the Bulls, and you got double Draymond fans.
How unhappy I was when he got away with like the 7 dick kicks in a row, and it was just like, are we all just like where's the justice in the NBA?
There is no justice,
and it was him losing the NBA championship, thankfully. So that made me feel better personally.
Well, they choked it, so
yeah, but it was because he couldn't control his emotions. He's a bit upset.
And also LeBron just being the greatest player of all time. So, him and Kyrie back-to-back 41 point games each, and then Kyrie with the shot.
You're not Sean Anderson. Don't even try.
What?
trying to bait me into the whole.
I'm not baiting.
You are. I see that
ever.
smile.
I'm not
Trying to go
baiting.
Yep.
You can't bait as good as Sean Anderson could bait.
I'm sorry. You can't kick somebody in the
Pause?
balls. You can't kick somebody in the balls. And then act innocent.
Dave remembers the headset throw.
I'm sorry. You know what Draymond is? Draymond's the thing, the meme of, oh my gosh, there's repercussions for my actions. I can't
Yes.
believe it. That's what he is. Move on to the two of the final people I want to talk about. Not the final, but former Clipper and current Clipper, Isaiah Hartenstein and Ivica Zubac. Hartenstein 1 on the Thunder should be phenomenal. I think we've touched on it a little bit because we've talked about the Thunder a lot. Zubac is an interesting one. Dave, as the Harden, one of them, one of the two. We'll go one of the two. A center playing with Harden for a full season, right? Like, we know that Zubac is going to take the jump. I guess how big of a jump do you expect? And his role, like Retro keeps telling me every single day, his role is going to be bigger this season. So what do you expect going forward?
Yeah, he's going to be way more of the offense than he has been. I think it's just a matter of how many games realistically is Kawhi gonna play. And no one knows the answer, but for all realistic purposes, like when I'm envisioning this Clippers team, like it's gonna be Harden and Zubac, and they're just gonna be pick and roll to death teams, and it's not gonna be like anything crazy or anything pretty. It's gonna be the same thing over and over because Harden can spam the same until you stop him, and that's what he loves to do. And if you can stop him, it's like, okay, now I go to the next thing down, and he'll just try to do that until you get. And it's just there's something to love about that game. But it just comes down to like, is he going to average like 15 to 17 this year? I don't know. Norm Powell's still Norm Powell. He'll love to get his shots up. He'll soak up the offensive load as needed. But with DJJ out there, part-time Nick Batum, I don't know, like. They need offense somewhere. I think he's good. He's consistent. He's solid. Really great trade for Mike Muscala.
That's an all timer.
Yep.
Genuinely, that
Guy's
Lakers.
Like
I remember that trade happening. I was walking on campus and I saw the trade. And I stood in the middle of like the sidewalk and I was just like, huh? Moves for him straight up. That still makes no sense. I'll show Hartenstein, Ricky. I'll throw it to you. Expectations on the Thunder for him this year, him and Chet splitting minutes playing together, and then obviously how SGA can elevate his game.
I just think that like Hartenstein is gonna I hate to say this, but I think he's gonna have more fun on the Thunder than he did on the Knicks.
Yeah.
Just because think of SGA compared to Brunson, who's the better player.
They're close,
SGA,
but yeah.
SGA. But even like to me, the Thunder just seem like a team. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just these teams where it's like, okay, SGA is clearly the best player on that team, but like together, it's like, wow, this is like a cohesive unit. And you take one of these pieces out, I feel like he's just gonna fit right in. It's gonna be kind of like the mentality that New York had, but
he's not
way less pressure. Way less pressure because, Mecca compared to, Oklahoma City where the Buffalo roam.
Whoa.
And the Bills and the Cantaloupe play. Not the Cantaloupes. The Cantaloupes.
We got some
the fruit. The Cantaloupes.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
No, but I feel like he's like.
No, he came out and he's like, I'm going to take more threes because Tibbs wouldn't let me, and now I get to free
it's
reign
all
on
about
my
is he going to mesh with this team, and I think he will.
Yeah, I think he already has. I was going to say I've watched him play preseason.
But there's always a honeymoon period. It's once the honeymoon period ends, are we still meshing? That's the real test, and I think that he'll pass that with flying colors.
Let's say, Jake, do you think that he's going to be cool with like split time at center with Chet? Because that's the only conflict I really see on this roster is like he's not going to get the full share of minutes anymore at center. And I know he was doing that with Mitch, but then Mitch went down. So it was like, hey, the minutes are yours because our other option is awful.
Take the load.
Yeah, take the son of a bitch. Got me with my own. So yeah, do you see like that being an issue potentially for them, or they're going to figure that out pretty easily? What do you think?
So I'm a big fan of Dagnall. I think he'll figure it out. I think Chet's enough of a flexible big where he can play an extra traditional center. I think Chet and Hartenstein will probably both welcome it because Hartenstein played that full season under Tibbs, and now that he's going to be, you don't have to do as much. Your strain's not going to be as high. Even in the playoffs, you won't have to do as much. You don't have to go against Joel Embiid for 48 minutes. Like that's a welcome sight, I think, for him, and especially against most of the teams, honestly, in the West, when they throw Chet and Hartenstein out there with SGA, Caruso, and Dort, there's just not many teams who can play against that, right? You literally have 5 elite defensive players, and then also they have the ability to stretch the floor with 4 out of 5 of them. And then Hartenstein, like I mentioned earlier, has that BS hook shot or push shot that he just never misses, right? So honestly, I think it'll probably take some time, as we always see in the beginning of the regular season. We see teams struggle to find their lineups. They'll find their groove. They just have so many shooters, so many defenders, so much space to create on the court that Hartenstein, I think, I literally cannot see a world where this goes wrong outside of an injury, right?
Mm-hmm.
If SGA is healthy, this team, I didn't even mention Jalen Williams when I said that lineup, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's how ridiculous.
I know you left him out, yeah.
But I'm saying that's how much flexibility they have. You can take Lou Dort out, put Jalen Williams in, and take SGA out, and put I said Carson Edwards almost for a second, Cason Wallace in. Yep. And they have Isaiah Joe too. We didn't even mention him. They have Aaron Wiggins. Didn't even mention him.
Huge piece.
Their team is just so ridiculous that. And Dagnall, I think, is one of the best. We're not doing coaching rankings this year, but I think if we did, he'd be top 7, top 8 in the league. So
he'd definitely be up there.
Yeah. So I just don't see a world this doesn't fit in. Anything else you guys like to say on the 11 through 20? Anybody else?
Mm-mm.
I know that we skipped. We didn't talk much about Miles Turner or Derek Lively, but I'm sure we talked about Lively a little bit already. So
Turner's great fit for the Pacers. The guy who's been on the trading block for years, but seemingly hasn't wanted to leave, and they now have a system that totally works with him. So cool. Got him. And then Lively is just like so good, and he's just getting better.
You'll see how deep his bag goes this year, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only thing where I'm like, Gafford may end up starting more games, but like Lively will finish more games, kind of thing.
So we put Lively. I'm sorry, I can't get with the Gafford stuff. I know we might be technically wrong to start the regular season, but Lively's just so much better than Gafford.
Gafford's limited. What Gafford does is great, but he has hard limits on his game. Whereas Lively is like, I'm going to bring the ball up the court this time. I'm going to try making passes that there's no right I should make at 7'1". Like he'll just start doing things, and you're just like, you shouldn't do. Why is he getting away with that? Like,
why is he getting away with that?
You want to see what I can do?
Yeah.
You want to see me do it again? It's like that's basically what he is this season.
The SNL. Look what I can do.
Look what I can do.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.